Hey everybody, what's up and welcome back to the Starcraft 2 Own It Shack. It is David here bringing you Master League Quest episode 21 and oh boy, I sound kind of nasally. I apologize if it comes out in this video. Terran versus Zerg here on the map Shakuras Plateau. And I've been playing a lot of ladder games recently. Facing some Master League players, beating some Master League players, and facing a lot of top diamonds as well. So I'm definitely moving up. I'm getting there. I don't know if I'll get there by the end of June because it's really close, but I'm making a bold effort, and if not, I'm sure I can get it in July. This is going to be on Shakuras Plateau, as I said, and, well, honestly, I hate this map versus Zerg. I find it really hard to push because their natural is elevated, so you need to have medevacs to get a vision of that. So I find that very difficult to deal with. And I don't really like the map versus Protoss either because of the same thing, and we all know I'm a huge fan of siege tanks in Terran versus Protoss, so... just generally speaking, I hate this map. I know it's pretty fair, but cross position Zerg can be kind of difficult to deal with for Terrans. So I don't believe I've shown this before. I can't remember the last time I did Terran versus Zerg, but what I've been doing lately is I've been opening up with Reapers. It's pretty good. I mean, you can kill a few drones, usually force some Zerglings, and if you manage to get a bunker up, you can even just end the game right there by killing his hatchery. So that's what I'm going to be trying to do here, and hopefully it's going to work out for me. Now, of course, the thing about this map is that almost all Zergs will go for that fast expansion, the 15 hatch. So what you have to be careful of with this Reaper build is you need to make sure you do damage. You can't just sit around with the Reapers and do nothing. If you don't force Zerglings or kill a few drones, you're just going to be behind, and you might as well just gone for your one-racked expansion, which actually will keep you up economically. So anyway, that's my thought process right now as I'm going into the game, and also, I did keep an eye on the minimap there, so I saw his drone coming, so I will be rushing for this this depot here to wall that off. I do not want him getting in, and as you can see on the minimap, if you do pay attention to that, yeah, his drone's just dancing around a little bit. So there goes his 15 hatch, that's the timing there of that. And I just scouted out with that SCV, and I'm going to try and build a sneaky little bunker behind the mineral line. This will work sometimes. Sometimes Zergs don't check there. Other times, you know, they just suck at it. But most of the time it's just a mistake. Usually a good Zerg will have an Overlord positioned over their natural so they can get vision of that. Because the hatchery, believe it or not, does not provide vision of that area until it's fully morphed. So we'll be going ahead and dropping that bunker right about there. And you can see he's got an Overlord, but it's a tiny bit out of position, so he's not going to really see that. And actually, looking back at this game, I think I should have dropped the bunker there early so it was ready faster for my Reaper. You always want, you want the Reaper to be able to get in that bunker the second it gets there. Now, this is not an all-in, so I decided in this game I'm going to be dropping that expansion. So there I go, bringing that SCV over, and one racks FE with Reapers is always good. I do get the bunker up, but sadly he has spotted it. Now the creep, once that creep goes around the hatchery like that, the hatchery gets vision of the bunker there. So, yeah, what do you do? Anyway, yeah, the factory's now going up, and oh yeah, huge mistake there by me. I should have salvaged that in time. Free 100 minerals, or sorry, 75 with the new patch. It would have been much better to do that. So I do get one kill right there. And I've forced a few more lings than he would like, and I built a second Reaper here to go up the back door while that one Reaper has him distracted over at the front. I also drop a factory while I'm doing this because it just transitions nicely. You've already got the tech lab on your barracks. Now here I go, going to get some drone kills. You want to queue him up, and I assume that he's going to be going back up there, but he's slow to react. He tries to do it with his drones, which is going to give this Reaper an extra couple kills. I mean, he's already up to 3. Make that 4. Do I get the 5th? Yes, I do. So 5 kills with one Reaper, 1 kill with the other. 6 kills total. You need 2 to break even. And that means that my harassment was successful. So, and believe me, it can get a lot worse than what you saw there. I mean, I've done this sometimes, and actually, just like I said, I've just ended the game. They lose their hatchery because of a couple well-placed bunkers. And it's really powerful. And I've got my second command center up and running. Going to get that changed into an orbital, of course. And yeah, so now the main plan, of course, is to deny his third base. That's just what you want to do, of course, as a Terran. You can't let the Zerg get up So you're going to have to apply that mid-game push, and my plan here is to do a 1-1 timing push. And I will be making a strategy video on this particular strategy I'm using here. Once I get it a little more refined, it's still kind of rusty. It's just, there's still kinks in it. It's got to just be fleshed out a bit more. Got to get the starport timing and second factory timing a little bit better until I release that video, and it's going to be pretty good. This is a great build. Been working on it with one of my subscribers, who's a great Master League player. And yeah, so another thing I want to mention, the safe time that you can float that, or at least that I float my CC over, is once I get siege tech up. Because once you have that, you're okay to lift up, because the siege tanks on the high ground here will do a great job of killing any zerglings that try and attack you. And so I will be lifting it up there, gonna go over. Of course, stim is on the way already, you obviously want that. And I did get a couple more racks. I'm gonna get reactors on 2, tech lab on 1. That does allow you to make 5 marines at once. Without the 2 engineering bays that have dropped there, you can actually go for 4 racks and 2 factories off of 2 bases, and just try and punish them without getting medevacs. Now, on this particular map, however, I don't agree with that strategy because, like I said, you need the medevacs to give you vision of the high ground, and you can't really push into his base. Which is really the main reason why I don't like this map, Terran vs. Zerg. So that kind of strategy, much better on a map like Xel'Naga Caverns, and I'll be doing my 1-1 push here on Shakuras Plateau. Alright, so as you can see, +1 attack and armor for the bio is already on the way, and got those reactors up. As you can see, yeah, there we go. I was about to comment on my macro being a little bad there, but it's alright. I do like to drop scans as well on the main, just to see what tech route they're going around this time. And I did get a scout of the Spire, so I'm very happy because of that. You know, I mean, I'd much rather go against Mutas than Infestors any day. Now, this is important. Because I saw the Spire there, I will be bringing those siege tanks down to the low ground well in advance. And the reason for that is because once those mutas are out, if those siege tanks are still on the high ground there and the mutas come in, it can get kind of ugly, of course, because then the mutas can just pick off a few free tanks and ruin your push. So that's why you should do that if they're going for mutas. If they're infestors, yeah, that's fine, just leave them up there. But it's not going for infestors, so don't have to worry about that too much.
Not enough.
Yeah, another thing, the armory there, it's a little bit late, but not that bad altogether. One thing that, if you look at the minimap right now, I'm sending out that Marine to try and scout his third base. This is a mistake. I should have sent an SCV out there much earlier and just patrolled between his probable locations for his third base, because that way I could actually get some vision of it. Right now, if I want to see if he has the third, I'm going to have to burn a scan. That's a waste of minerals. You need every single mineral. Look at how mineral blocked I am right now. You can see. It's obvious. So the minerals are very important. And I'll just, at this point, be assuming that he's going to be dropping a fast third, which seems to be the trend, especially on a map like Shakuras Plateau. So now that I got my 1-1, it's finished, I think, or it's going to be finished by the time I get there. Got stim, got siege tanks. If you've done it right, you should have about 5 siege tanks when you push out, but yeah. Sometimes when I do this strategy, I can even get the starport ready on time with a medevac. And I don't know how I do it. It's just, like I said, I mean, the build just needs refining. And as you can see, he's decided to take a base over there. Yeah, I'm kind of confused as to why that is. I mean, it's right in the vision of the Xel'Naga Tower, as you can see. But what this probably means, and what I'm assuming here, is that this is actually his 4th base, because I just feel like no reasonable Zerg would have no units right now, as you can see, and just go ahead and take a third right there. It just doesn't make sense. He's obviously sacrificed something, and it must be his units, because I just can't see a reason to take your third there. I haven't actually watched the replay, so maybe I'll do that, but I'm pretty confident that's what it was. I mean, this guy was really greedy. I'll just tell you right now. I mean, the rest of this game, he is frickin' greedy, so it would not surprise me if he actually took a 4th by the 13-minute mark. So I'm not going to pull out, obviously. I have the army advantage. Just waited for those reinforcements so I can really do a strong attack right here. And yeah, you can see his army is very small. I can easily engage that. Another thing I've been working on here is getting those siege tanks leapfrogging a bit better. as you can see, my Marines are out of position right now to deal with mutalisk harassment on those tanks. So that's something I'm going to have to work on if I want to get into Master League, because a Master League player punishes siege tanks that are left out in the open without Marine support. So I'm going to be just pushing in there as fast as I can. Sadly, I did not have my upgrade for those siege tanks, the +1, which means, I'm not sure if he had armor, but if he does have armor, it means that it's going to take you 1 extra hit to kill a Zergling with siege tanks. So I killed this army, so I'm going to be pushing up a little bit farther. Taking out all these creep tumors is a bonus too, of course. But sadly, this is where sorry, oh my goodness. This is where it gets rough. As you can see, he's got enough mutalisks because he didn't make many banelings to almost take those Marines out. And once your Marines are gone, the siege tanks are free pickings. So, yeah, oh man, if I just had those Marines up there on time, I feel like I could have defended this little attack here a lot better. Because I'm going to lose all my siege tanks, as you can see. But, you know, I've done a lot of damage. I mean, I denied that 4th base. I killed a bunch of mutas. And right now I'm just going to go and focus fire a bunch of drones. Or maybe I do go for the mutas. I don't even know what I do. There I go. So there it goes. Yeah, I did get that +1 attack finally for the siege tanks. And yeah, I kill a bunch of drones. I drop the scan and I confirm my earlier suspicion that that was likely a 4th base. And I do take my 3rd and drop another factory with, I think, no. Actually, what I should have done right there is drop some more barracks. The 2nd factory should be earlier. As you can see, the gas was piling up, so that's another thing. Got to time out these factories a bit better, because as it stands, yeah, I'm a little bit behind, because if I had the 2nd factory earlier, could have been making siege tanks that whole time and been able to push for a 2nd time much earlier than I would have otherwise. So that's generally my thinking. Of course, drops are always a great way to try and get ahead in a game that you feel like you are behind in. So I will be sending that dropship out to try and harass his 3rd base. It's simply because, as you can see, right there in the Zelnaga Tower, his mutas are out of position. Now, obviously, mutas are very good at denying drops. But if you force the mutas somewhere else, or if he's going to harass you with his mutas, it's going to give you a great chance to drop, and that's a huge mistake by him. You absolutely cannot fly mutas over an army like that. It just does not work. Not one little bit. Oh, yeah, that's another thing I'm going to try and work on. Getting my mouse accuracy better. I turned that sensitivity down, but it's helped a bit, but I'm just going to get used to it. And like I said earlier, this is a greedy Zerg. So you can see, I mean, this is what I'm talking about. This guy took so many bases so fast, and yeah. So I'm going to be engaging over here. Of course, leapfrogging is always a good thing, and if you can harass with drops while you're doing this, it's a great way to get ahead. Obviously, you know, banelings do a ton of damage to Marines, so you have to be careful about those kinds of things. But generally speaking, I'm feeling pretty good in this game. So, with those 2 factories now, and I have a 3rd base operational, I'm easily going to be able to re-macro up pretty fast. And I've left that dropship down there. You can see it on the minimap at the bottom left of the screen. It's right there waiting to drop him at an opportune time. Now, unfortunately, I didn't have the Marines sent up there to help with those mutas. I do have a few missile turrets, however. And yeah, the beauty of getting those early Eng bays, as you can see, I'm going to get really fast 3-3 on those Marines. So life is good. Got to repair that. If you lose an upgrade that takes that long, and you, I mean, it's devastating. It's going to take you so long to get back up. Yeah, the mutalisk harassment is, I'll admit, getting kind of dirty here. Of course, I let him macro so hard with those large amounts of bases, so that's pretty much why this is happening right now. I mean, I'm going to need some more racks as well. And I can now send that drop back in to do some economic damage while his mutas are trying to harass me. So, yeah, that's how it goes. I'm going to send those in. Unfortunately, a spine is there, but with the 3-3 upgrade on the Marines, spines are not nearly as good as they usually are. And I decide, you know what? What the heck? I'm going to go do a double drop right now. I've got him distracted over here. Why not drop his main? So that dropship is going up the back corridor, and yeah, hopefully do some damage with that as well. Now, the idea here, I think, what my plan was to get a bunch more siege tanks and then just do a really strong, fast push, and just try and ruffle stomp him that way. But as you can see, my multitasking is slipping a bit. I've left that drop unattended. I could have done a bit more damage. I mean, I got some drones and everything, but generally speaking, yeah, I mean, come on, I could have done more damage. And you know, with that.
Additional supply depots required.
Alright, so now in this game, yeah, the main thing I'm going to try and do now, if you notice, I have a Marine right now, stimmed up, or about to be stimmed up, trying to scout. Don't let this happen if you're Zerg. I'm basically looking for his hive, because that's a key point in Terran vs Zerg. You have to know when that hive is coming, because if you aren't prepared for the Broodlord switch and you don't have enough starports, you're going to get rolled. It's that simple. So, yeah, with that up there. The other important thing, yeah, I just saw it right there. The spire location, it's very important to know where that is, because if you know where the spire is, you can scan it to make sure that he is going to be going for the greater spire. Because the other option with a hive tech, obviously, is Ultralisks, and both require very different responses. Ultras, you're going to want to get a bunch more, excuse me, barracks with tech labs in order to do some Marauder production and counter his Ultras that way. Obviously, Broodlords, Marauders aren't too good against those. So I do feel like I've now got a nice critical mass, and I can just go and start wiping out Expos willy-nilly, and with all these extra production facilities, remaxing should not be a big problem for me. And that is really Terran's major weakness. Now this, I feel like this was a really, yeah, this is a great engagement. Engaging right here is awesome because you can't really get a flank. And you can see the siege tanks just do terrible, terrible damage right there. And the Marines, 3-3 upgrades, they're going to shred through these mutas as he's finding out the hard way. I mean, he's trying to kill those Marines, but he's not doing it cost efficiently whatsoever. And with 4 factories, getting my siege tank count up again is absolutely no problem. Now, the other thing that is great to do, I think, in Terran vs Zerg, for me especially, because I do have higher APM than most, is to start doing massive amounts of drops at this point in the game, and just start sacrificing drops to split up his army so that you can actually do some really good damage. Because right now the main goal is not just to kill bases, but to kill drones. With the drones being killed, it makes it so he can't get that huge money float. And it's just, I think it's just good altogether. The Marine position here was also impeccable, if I do say so myself. Got a bunch of Mutalisk kills right there. And I'm going to be patrolling those ones, I think. Or maybe not. But yeah, I think it's a good idea to get some missile turrets at every expansion with some Marine support, because really, that will deny the Mutas quite well. Also, yeah, right there, that's an interesting thing. I'm getting the building armor upgrade, and what that does is it gives +2 armor to all Terran buildings. Now you might be wondering, well, what buildings am I trying to protect? And what it is, it's the missile turrets. A +2 armor makes a huge difference against Mutalisks. It's so helpful, and I think that if you are in a game this late and you've already got your 3-3 on your Marines, why not go ahead and use those engineering bays for something else, and just, you know, and just try and get ahead that way. So yeah, this is obviously why you want missile turrets there. I mean, at this point in the game, mules do give me quite a bit of mineral income, but you still don't want to be losing SCVs. Excuse me, that fast. And there goes the patrol route that I was mentioning earlier. And yeah, I should be remaxed here pretty soon. And just so you know, I've got those extra 2 starports building, and I don't think I've scouted his hive at this point. Now, this is just a good assumption to make. Assuming that he's going for the hive tech is obviously a pretty good assumption at over 20 minutes into the game. And when he does, I'll be more than prepared to pump massive amounts of Vikings out once he gets those broodloads. So that's basically my rationale there. And I will be trying to take this extra base up at the, or sorry, down at the 5 o'clock position on the map. So yeah, there I go. Going to be loading up medevacs to do double drops, I think, and just, it's so powerful. And with a Thor in there, man, those mutas are not going to be good at all anymore. He's going to have to magic box. He's going to have to... I'm just forcing this guy to do more micro, basically. That's what I'm doing. Now, the other thing, this moment right here, check this out. I do a scan right there because of this exact thing. Sneaky Zergs will try and burrow banelings like that, and this gives me an absolutely monumental lead. That was huge. Like, he was counting on me not killing those banelings. He has no banelings right now, I think. So that's going to let me push in much, much harder than I really would have otherwise. And with that drop up in his main, as you can see, doing damage, this is really powerful. And look at that. He's morphing the Greater Spire, and I'm going to snipe that fast as can be with those Marines. Because if I can deny his tech, and I'm on my own tier 3 with the Thors and the Starports already up, I'm going to be way ahead. Obviously, you want to focus fire those banelings with the siege tanks, as I did. Nice split. The Thor gets a really nice volley off there, and the Marines are able to just absolutely raffle stomp these mutas. It is a complete joke, and he lost all his mutas, so what am I going to do? I'm going to be dropping the crap out of him because he doesn't have anything to deny it. I mean, I killed his whole army. I do want to be somewhat cautious and wait a while because I need some more siege tanks, but altogether, this was a great engagement for me, and I'm going to try and just push this to the max, do as much damage as humanly possible. So yeah, of course, got to get more troops, got to always reinforce during these scenarios, because without the siege tanks at the middle, he can mass Zerglings and somewhat roll you. You don't want that to happen, of course, and I certainly want to win this game, so it's good to have the there's 4 factories. I mean, look at that, 4 more siege tanks right away. Gonna get my siege tank count up monumentally. I think I used that word already, so I'm gonna try get some new vocab going, and I will be just continuing with the drops. I mean, why not? There's nothing you can do to stop it. And now with these extra tanks, I'm gonna be pushing up, you know, fast, hard, aggressively. Really try and make my presence known to this Zerg player. This Zerg player who did not give me good luck, have fun at the beginning of the game. Hate that. Hate that more than anything. Another thing I should be doing, I should be main learning SCVs over to that bottom expansion I took, but at this point in the game, I'm so focused on this push that I have forgotten 100% about that. By the way, that +3 attack on the siege tanks, it's pretty awesome as well. I'm going to be pre-splitting the Marines. Of course, scanning for these extra expos. Don't want to get caught off guard by that. And he's rebuilt his spire, and I don't want that, so I'm going to try and snipe that with those Marines over there. And now that I'm maxed, as you can see, I've got so many more barracks coming. And the Infestor that I just saw there is going to queue me, of course, to get a Ghost Academy, and I will be getting some tech labs on those barracks as well in order to get those Ghosts. Ghosts is something I've been incorporating into my play more frequently in this matchup, getting lots of EMPs off on the clumped Infestors that I do seem to struggle with sometimes. Don't really think it's just me, though. I find Infestors in general are hard to deal with this Terran. I think that Infestors are easier to use by the Zerg than... the difficulty level to defend Infestors is larger than the difficulty level in actually using them. So that's why I don't like facing them at all. So we'll be trying to snipe those. And if I can get that infestation pit, I mean, that's pretty much GG. There's nothing you can do. Infestors really are his only way out, and I'm not going to be stopping the drops. Going to be continuing that. Going to focus down that infestation pit, push up with more Marines. I mean, he's pretty dead at this point, and we'll be scanning just to make sure that he wasn't taking random expansions around the map. Going to get that Mobius reactor. And yeah, I'm pretty sure he's going to be tapping out here any second. I mean, yeah, there he goes. I mean, obviously, I don't really expect a GG from someone who didn't even wish me good luck, but what can you say? I mean, it's the American server, so that's how we are. I mean, we're a bunch of rude people over here in North America, so yeah, poor Potato, poor guy, lost the game, and he's mad. But anyway, yeah, I'm really happy about this game. I thought I played pretty well, and I do hope that you enjoyed this episode of my Masterly Quest. So once again, guys, thanks for tuning in. I hope to see you again for another daily dose of Ownage.